I am back with another spooky story. And this one, you don't want to watch at night. But y'all don't listen to me anyway, so let's get into it. This story is my roommate's story. And we're gonna call my roommate Ellie. That's her name. So Ellie and her brother had a time in their childhood where they were in the foster system awaiting adoption. Ellie and her brother winds up getting moved from the first place that they were staying to a house in Long Island. Now, Ellie described this house to be absolutely beautiful. It was a mansion, like decorations, high ceiling, definitely no house that she's ever been to before. And it wasn't just Ellie and her brother that was moved to this house. A bunch of kids from the group home that she was originally staying at were too moved to this house. So it's day one and the kids are exploring the house. Around that time, Ellie must have been 7 and her brother must have been 5. So all the kids are in this humongous house and they're all just exploring the space. Someone winds up coming around and designates each kid to a room. Ellie got put in a room with her brother and 2 other children. So keep in mind, as this is happening, as the kids are getting more acclimated to the house, this is all happening in broad daylight. So it hasn't even gotten dark yet. Kids get put into their rooms to put their stuff down, and they notice the closet in the room. The closet was closed, but for some reason, the kids, they seemed to be intrigued by this closet. So they decided that they were actually going to open the closet and go through it and just see what's in there. And before I tell you guys what happened, I want you guys to be able to picture the closet. The closet had shelves. And what the kids at the time did not know was that the last shelf on the closet actually led up to an attic. It was kind of like a secret entrance to the attic. So picture it like this, right? What the kids did not know though was that the top shelf would lead to an attic. And obviously the closet was much bigger than that. So at this point, the kids walk in, they're looking at the closet, it's just a closet at this point. They see the shelves, but they can't see on top of it, so it's cool. They'll put their stuff down and go on about their business. One of the kids reported to hearing thumping in the closet, as if like there was somebody in the closet. But again, they had opened the closet earlier and there was nobody in there. So what the fuck is that noise and where is it coming from? It kept hearing it and the noise would intensify. Footsteps, thuds. So the kids went to the family of the house, which I'm assuming the owner of the house, and told them about the noise that they're hearing in the closet. So the family of the house decided to go investigate and see what could be making the noise in the closet. So Ellie and her brother, being nosy, decided to go with the family to go check out what it was that was making the noise in the closet. So they opened the closet door and they walk in and everybody's just looking. So Ellie and her brother are standing there just looking around and the family is looking around with them investigating. It seems like the noise and the stomping is coming from up. So one of the members from the family picked one of the kids up so they can be able to get a better view of what was going on up there. So as the little boy is reaching up there to see what's going on, just like a scary movie, y'all, why the little boy got snatched into the attic. Ellie and her brother saw this with their own 2 eyes. They stood there and they watched this little boy literally get yanked and pulled into the attic. Everybody starts freaking out. Everyone. Kids are petrified, the family is horrified, and young Ellie at the time decided that she had seen enough. She has no idea what happened to that little boy. Decided to run outside and call ACS. Y'all better come pick me and my brother up because I don't know where the fuck y'all got me right now. She explained the situation to the people about the little boy being snatched into the closet. At that point, the little boy still hasn't come out. Literally, ACS rushed over and got all of the kids out of the house. Had all the kids standing outside. They refused to let anybody come back inside of the house. And eventually, they took the kids and left and they never went back to the house. If you're wondering what happened to that little boy, so am I. I have no idea. Ellie has no idea. They literally had the kids standing outside. Then they took the kids and just drove off and they never heard anything back from that. And from there, they were moved to the next house. Thank you guys so much for watching this story. If you enjoyed these mysterious, spooky stories, you better follow me on TikTok. In my bio, I have a link tree. You'll be able to find my YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube for longer, better, spooky stories. While you're at it, go ahead and follow me on Instagram just so that I know that it's real. Please. This one was definitely a spooky one. If you have a spooky story that you think is interesting enough that you'd like me to tell, feel free to DM me that story on Instagram or send me a voice note. I like those better. So seriously, if your grammar is ass, just send me a voice note. Don't piss me off because I be getting brain aneurysms trying to read these stories. Send voice notes. I have plenty more ghost stories, not just from Ellie, but Ellie's friend Shayna. We were all sharing ghost stories yesterday and I was like, oh yeah, this is about to be the next series. Because Ellie went on to live in another haunted house after that where a little girl's spirit lived in her bedroom. And Shayna had a very strange encounter when she was just a little girl. I can't wait to tell you guys all about it. Make sure you guys leave a comment letting me know which story you guys want to hear first and what did you guys think about today's story from your favorite Haitian homegirl. I get paid.
Okay, so if you scare easily, just don't watch this video. So why was I in the kitchen doing the dishes, right? Just doing the dishes, and I hear my sister call my name. She's like, Indira, Indira. And I'm like, yeah, I'm coming, right? So I continue to do the dishes, but I know how my sister is. Like, when she call, I'm coming. So I go in the living room, and I'm like, yeah, like, what happened? She was like, what? I'm like, yeah, what happened? Like, you good? She's like, I didn't call you. I was like, yes, you did. You said Indira, Indira. She's like, no, I didn't call you. I said, stop playing. Because we play a lot. Like, we're a playful family. Like, we play 24/8. She's like, no, for real. I didn't call you. I said, yes, you did. She said, no, I didn't. I didn't call you. And mind you, she said my name clearly. It was clear as day. I know how my sister's voice sound. She said, Indira, Indira. Like, what?
I have a creepy story time. If this is the type of content that you're into, feel free to follow along. I post a scary story every single day. The person who submitted this wishes to remain anonymous, so for the sake of the story, let's call him Victor. Now, Victor is a medium, which means that he is able to help people who have recently lost a loved one in order to deliver a message, or if they're having any type of experiences in their home. Back in 2006, him, his wife, and daughter had recently moved to Texas. Around this time is when they came across a family that were having issues in their home. It started off very small, like pictures falling off the wall, dishes were being moved, and keys were going missing, but nothing too crazy, just mainly annoying. But as time went on, it started to get worse. Victor was called, so he decided to go over there and take a walk around. The minute Victor walked into this house, he felt it. Now, this family had 2 young children. One was about 4, the other one was 6. So Victor suggested that they lay baby powder on the ground to try to eliminate some of the noises and the things going missing, to see if it was maybe the kids messing around. The next day at about 9 a.m., Victor gets a call from the family. He ends up going to the house. When he walks in, they show him one of the rooms where they lay the baby powder, and very clearly in cursive, the name Casey has been written out. Now, Casey happened to be Victor's daughter's name, and there was no way that anyone in the house could have been the one to write it out, because there were no footsteps around the name, 1, and 2, no one in the house knew his daughter's name. So Victor asks the family, you guys know anyone by the name of Casey? The family all responds with, no, we don't know anyone by that name. Victor then tells the family that he cannot help them and starts to quickly leave the house. The family, of course, asks, why can't you help us, and who's Casey? Victor explains to them that Casey is his daughter's name, and the fact that his daughter's name was written in cursive on the ground to him is a warning. Victor believed that this was a D word that was trying to come after him because he was helping the family.
It's time for another scary story. This story takes place at my grandma's house, specifically in Maryvale area in Phoenix, Arizona. So this house has a lot of scary stories, but let me tell you the few scary stories that are very similar to each other that happened throughout the years. So there was this one specific time, one of my grandma's sisters was living with her at the time, and she would get home around 2 a.m. in the morning from work. When she got home from work, she stated that she heard knocking coming from the glass sliding doors to the backyard. As she got closer, she said that she saw that it was a little boy knocking on the door. He was looking into the glass sliding doors and knocking at the same time. She stated that she turned on the lights to get a better view of the kid, but she said when she turned on the lights, he wasn't there anymore. That she went to the backyard, and when she went back there was nobody. It was empty, nobody was out there, so she just left back inside. That is so creepy, right? Wait, it gets creepier. This one time, my uncle, which is my dad's brother, was living with my grandma at the time. He stated that he was in his room with the door open, laying in his bed, so he had a view of the hallway from his bed since his door was open, you know. He stated that he saw a little boy peek into his room and just run back to the hallway towards the living room. He assumed it was me and my siblings with my parents for a surprise visit, like we always did. We always went for surprise visits to go see them. He was wrong. He got up after he saw the boy running towards the living room, and he said that when he checked the whole house, there was nobody there. He said that he checked the doors, they were all locked. He checked the windows, they were all shut, closed, and locked as well. He right away got creeped out. He ended up waiting in the front yard for my grandma to get home because he was that scared. Wait, there's more. There was this one specific time my great-grandparents were visiting from Mexico, and they always stayed with my grandma. My grandma said that late at night, my great-grandpa woke up yelling with pain. She obviously ran to him and said, "What is going on? What is wrong?" My great-grandpa told her that there was a little boy sitting on his leg and that it was hurting to get him off. My grandpa insisted on her getting that boy that was not even on his leg off of him. Guys, my grandma said she was so scared because there was nobody on his leg. She was so creeped out. There was this other time my grandma had her brother and his wife visiting her, and they had a young boy that was around 4 years old at the time. She said that that young boy interrupted their grown-up conversations and insisted on her to follow him to the hallway because he said that there was a little boy who wanted to talk to her. That boy was asking for Sylvia, which was my grandma. So my grandma said that the little 4-year-old pulled her by her hand and pulled her to the hallway and said, "He wants to talk to you. He's right there." My grandma said there was nobody there, obviously, and she was so creeped out because this isn't the first time she has heard of this little boy in her house. She told him, "There's nobody there." Like, "No, there's nobody there, mijo." Like, she said that he started crying, saying, "Yes, he is. He's right there. He wants to talk to you. Talk to him." One creepy thing about her house that always happens also is it's almost as if a little kid is messing with you. For instance, my uncle, my dad, and a lot of other family members that have stayed at my grandma's, because a lot of people actually have lived with her because she always invited people kindly, like, "You guys can live with me," when they needed somewhere to stay. Have stated that in the middle of the night they get the blankets pulled off of them, almost as if a kid's playing with them. Things end up going missing and you literally find them in places you would have never thought you would find them. In other words, places you for sure know you did not put the stuff that went missing at. So those are the stories about my grandma's house. Let me know if this was a creepy story or not.
This is the scariest thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life, and I wasn't even planning on making a video today, but I feel like I need to get out of my system because I have been welling up with tears and having full body chills from being scared. If you know me in real life, that never happens to me, so I feel like I just need to get out of my system. So this is that story. This happened 4 years ago. I was a freshman in college and I was talking to this boy at the time, and he caught me when I was coming home for the weekend from college, and he asked if he could take me stargazing. I say yes. He picks me up. It's maybe 11, 12 o'clock at night. He drives me to the state park specifically because I had never been before. And specific to note about this state park next to my hometown, it isn't, when I say in the middle of nowhere, I legitimately mean in the middle of nowhere. The closest gas station is like multiple miles away. Nobody lives near there. Yeah, you get the gist. So we get there. He originally parks in front of this watchtower. We're walking up the watchtower. Something to note about me, you're gonna learn about 2 of my fears today. I am afraid of heights. The tower starts shaking from the small amount of wind, and I immediately am like, "Hey, I don't like this. We're about halfway up. I don't like this. Let's go down." So he's like, "Okay, I actually thought you might be scared, so I have an alternate way for us to go look at the stars, but we have to walk through the woods." Usually, and before I get any comments about that, I know, okay? I know. The only reason why I went is because he was like, "It's like a minute and a half through the woods." Perfect. A minute and a half. No worries. I shouldn't have listened to him because it was a 10-minute walk, if not more. It is so dark in those effing woods that you cannot even see your hand in front of your face. I'm walking through the woods. I'm doing fine. My other fear is the dark. Okay, I'm a full-grown woman. I am exponentially scared of the dark. Like, unrealistically scared of the dark. We're walking, we hit a fence, and not just any fence, a barbed wire fence. By this time, my eyes are fully adjusted in the dark, and out in the distance, I can see a barn. Right next to the barn, I see a big silo, and if you don't know what a silo is, it's just this big metal structure that holds corn where I'm from. A lot of farmers have them. And I immediately ask him, is this someone's land? He doesn't really answer me, and I'm like, no, seriously, is this someone's land? Because I'm not going to get shot tonight. Because where I'm from, they're not going to ask you on their 5 acres of land what you're doing on their land. They're just going to shoot you because they don't know who you are at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. Or I guess what you are. So finally he tells me it's someone's land, and I'm like, I'm not trespassing on someone's land. Like, no thanks. 3 strikes and you're out. I've walked through the woods. I have tried to conquer my fear of heights, and I'm walking in the dark. No. This is no. So finally he's like, okay, fine. Like, we'll go back to the car and I'll drive you home. As we're walking, I don't know what it was. The hair on the back of my neck suddenly stood up. I start to feel like someone is watching me. And all my girlies with anxiety like me, you know what I'm talking about. But this was different. This was different. This was like burning 2 holes in the back of my head because they're staring so hard. And it was so bad that I kept turning around and there was literally no one there. My eyes are fully adjusted at this point. There is no one there that I can see. And I start walking so close to this dude that I'm flat tiring his shoes, which means I'm like stepping on the back of his shoes every couple of steps, and he's getting super mad at me. But eventually I just grab his arm and I say, there is something out here with us. And I made sure to whisper it because at the end of the day, if there is a living human being out there, I don't want them knowing that I feel like something is wrong. And number 2, it was really quiet out there, like deafeningly silent. And he immediately tells me like, Elena, it's okay. Like, your anxiety, it's okay. I understand that you're scared of the dark, but everything's gonna be fine. Like, there's no one else out here. There's no other cars. Everything's gonna be fine. We take probably 3 steps and start to hear rustling. And immediately, this is when my breath literally is taken away. Like, I'm like, I can't breathe. And again, he's like rubbing my back and he's like, it's okay. Like, there is seriously no one else out here. You're gonna be fine. We're walking for maybe a minute. We have our flashlights out. From our right, a rock doesn't tumble out. It is thrown out into the middle of the path that we're walking. I mean, like, right in front of us. Like, someone threw it. This was a game time decision, right? Right. I left him in the woods. I ran so fast, I left him in the woods. I have never ran faster in my entire life. In all my running girlies, I ran for a minute. Sprinted for a minute. I get to his car and I'm trying the door handles and I immediately am going through all these scenarios. I'm like, what am I gonna do if if there is a person in the woods? So I'm trying the door handles. I'm going to like literally every door and all of them are locked. And all of a sudden I hear him giggling and like jogging out of the forest. And he was like, that rabbit really scared me. A rabbit? And I probably look disgusting at this point, but I legitimately lost my mind on him. I was like, since when do rabbits pick up rocks and throw them at people? Since when has that ever happened? But anyways, we get in the car, we drive off. The whole time I'm asking him, what do you think that was? What do you think that was? Do you think that was a real person? Do you think that was a ghost? What was that? And I don't think he took me very seriously at the time because he was like, whatever. Needless to say, I never talked to him ever again. And now I will elaborate on why it's so scary to me. I don't think that was paranormal by any means. Because when you experience something paranormal, it's almost like an instantaneous thought, right? You're trying to rationalize. You're trying to go through the scenarios in your head on how it is possible that that happened. This was different. I have never felt so fearful in my entire life. And let me ask you this. when you get home late at night, maybe after a night out, or when you get home from work, school, etc., what do you think you're going to see when you turn the light on in your room? Probably some decor, probably your bed, your desk, maybe a pet lives there, I don't know. But you anticipate on what you're going to see because you're prepared for what you're going to see. I'm not comparing bedrooms in the woods, but I was not anticipating someone else to be out there because there's no cars out there. There was no way for someone to get out there if they didn't get there before the sun went down, if you catch my drift. And I think there's something, at the end of the day, there is something so deeply frightening about knowing someone was watching you the whole time. And there is something equally as frightening knowing you never saw them. And then you have to think about a plethora of things. Like, why was that person following two teenagers in the woods without making their presence known? How did that person get out into the middle of the woods in the middle of the night? I left a key part of the effing story out. When we got there and we got our little pass, the state trooper or whoever was working there told us that we were the last people going in. So be that as you may, moral of the story, you never know.
Story time. All right, so I have been seeing a lot of scary story times on TikTok, like a lot of scary stories or hauntings or whatnot. Well, you didn't ask for this, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. So when my daughter was about 3 or 4 years old, we went to a hotel for her birthday. We used to do this every year because she loved to swim. You can't swim outside in the wintertime in Kentucky, so we would find a hotel with an indoor pool. We stayed at the Best Western in room 105. It's a couple towns away from us, not very far from home. And we got there about 2 or 3 or something like that in the afternoon. That way she could actually swim all day and, enjoy her time there. Anyway, throughout the day, she would fall. And I know she's, 3 or 4 years old and they're clumsy, because babies are. But it was like she was being pushed, right? She would not cry about it. She would just fuss about it. So anyway, the day went on. We did whatever we did. We went swimming. We played pool, this and that. At nighttime, we were settling down for bed. She ate a bowl of cereal. I was on one side. John was on the other. She was sitting in the middle. And I said, honey, it's time to go to bed, lay down. And she was sitting up and she said, I can't, Mommy. And I said, why can't you? It's bedtime. You've got to be tired. You've gone all day long. And usually my kids slept really well. Didn't have a problem putting her to sleep. She said, I can't because they're staring at me. I said, who's staring at you? And she said, the mommy and her little kids. And I said, what? And she said, the mommy and her little kids, they keep staring at me. And I said, well, where are they? She said, they're right behind you, Mommy. The feeling that came over me was pure dread. I have never felt anything like that in my life, and I have not since. I had cold chills. I got sick to my stomach. It was awful. And I asked her, I said, Sissy, there's no way behind me. She said, yes, there are, Mommy. The little boy, the mommy, and the little girl. They're behind you. And I said, well, what do they look like? Because I have to know what's going on. I'm literally like frozen in place. Whether or not I want to move, I don't know what's going on. She said, well, the little boy's wearing like a brown turtleneck and he's got blonde hair and he's mean, Mommy. He's so mean. He's got the meanest look on his face and he's been mean to me all day. And the little girl's wearing a long dress and the mommy's wearing a long dress, but they're not mean to me. They're not mean to me. And I'm like, oh my Lord. Me and John both jumped up out of the bed, grabbed her up, and went to the front desk. I said, ma'am, I don't know what is in that room, but we can't stay there anymore. I know that we've been there all day, and I know that we've made a mess of that room because, we've used it. So that means the bed's been used, everything, but we can't stay there anymore. And she said, oh, no problem. I said, has anything ever happened in that room? Not that I know of. She did not act like I was crazy. She did not act like she didn't know what I was talking about. Anyway, we changed rooms. Everything was fine. Now, I know kids tell stories because they do. But up until Sissy was about 6 or 7 years old, these stories never changed. And then beyond that, she kind of forgot about it. Even now, she has, barely any memory of it. She's 18 years old, and what she really remembers is the things that I've told her. But the feeling that I got that night is something I have never felt. I even called my mom and asked her to pray. And my mom is a praying woman, because I was like, I don't know what's in this room. I just don't want it to attach to me. And I don't know how that stuff works. But that is my scary story. It has forever changed me in a way to know that, yeah, I believe that there's something that we can't see. And whether or not good or bad, it's terrifying. But anyway, have a great day, guys. Bye.
Hello, all. Welcome back to All Things Jenny. I'm Jenny. Actually, welcome to Spooky Sunday. I hope you all are having an amazing weekend so far. And please enjoy this amazing spooky video that I have put together for you. On TikTok, they have the best spooky stories, and a lot of them need to be actually put in a movie because they're so good. And I love them so much because they're actually other people's stories, and I have stories of my own, and I share my stories all the time on here of all the spooky experiences that I've experienced living in Haiti and here. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next spooky story or the next video. So please have a drink and or smoke a blunt for me too. And you guys enjoy the video. I'll talk to you later. Bye.